What is going on with Katy Perry's eye, reviewed by an eye doctor? Let's get into it. What's up, guys? I'm Zach with Dr. Eyeball MD. Welcome back. Let's watch this video of Katy Perry's eye at a recent concert. Let's take a look. Alright, so she's standing there. She appears to be trying to open her right eye. She's pointing at that eye. She's touching the brown. That seems to be something wrong with the right eye. So what I'm looking at here is a couple things. So first of all, what can cause the right eye not to open? Is it the right eye and not the left eye is also the question. Is she trying to close both eyes and the left is not closing? I don't think so in this case. I think the problem is definitely with the right eye here. And Katy Perry has actually said in prior interviews that she has a lazy eye on her right, although in pictures it's often the left eye that's her smaller eye. She actually mentions in another video that she has special drops to treat what she calls her wonk eye, where her eye is smaller in order to open that eye, so it's wider in pictures. Looking at the little bottle she's holding, I'm guessing it's something like phenylephrine or some kind of drop that's a sympathetic stimulator, drop that stimulates the Mueller's muscle. There are drops that actually will make the eye open wider and treat things like ptosis, which is droopy eye, which is what she definitely has in those pictures. It seems to just happen when she's smiling in pictures, that one eye gets smaller. Sometimes that just happens to people. Also, sometimes you can have something called aberrant regeneration after something like a Bell's palsy. So if you get a Bell's palsy, you lose innervation to the facial nerve, loses innervation to the muscles. Sometimes it tries to regrow, and it can do so in an aberrant way where it will re-innervate muscles that it didn't previously innervate. So I've seen patients come in after a Bell's palsy where the nerve kind of regenerates in such a way that they'll want to smile, and rather than just smiling, the eye will also close, so that nerve is regenerated in an aberrant way. So that can happen after something like a Bell's palsy. In her case, it may just be that that's how she smiles. But all that to say that she claimed to have these eye problems before. Some other interesting videos that I've seen of Katy Perry is one where she was at, I believe, a Nashville concert, where she actually just collapsed on stage with what almost looked like a seizure. She gets up pretty shortly after. So all this kind of brings into question some sort of neurologic issue. But I watched this video a lot of this recent concert, and I actually watched it in slow motion to try to see a couple things. One, so if this is Bell's palsy, like a lot of people are saying, Bell's palsy affects the entire facial nerve on one side of the face. So you don't just get an eye affected typically with Bell's palsy. You'll have brow ptosis. You'll have loss of the lower half of the face. If you watch the Justin Bieber video, he did have a Bell's palsy. That's 100% a Bell's palsy. This doesn't look like a Bell's palsy. This could be aberrant regeneration after an old Bell's palsy. So if she had an old Bell's palsy, recovered most of the facial nerve function, and then had aberrant regeneration to the orbicularis oculi muscle, that can actually cause this kind of weird contracture involuntarily. Although that's not what this looks like. This doesn't look like orbicular spasm to me. I've seen some people say this looks like blepharospasm. This isn't what blepharospasm looks like. Blepharospasm is almost always bilateral. This doesn't look like blepharospasm. The other thing it could potentially be is hemifacial spasm, where you will get kind of a spasm of the facial nerve that contracts essentially the whole side of the face. So you can get this tonic closure of the orbicularis oculi muscle where it won't want to, where that eye won't want to open, and that can be kind of, it can affect that side of the face to different degrees. So it can be primarily the eye, it can be the facial muscles twitching with hemifacial spasm. That's typically caused by some kind of aberrant vessel at the origin of the facial nerve where it exits and rubs against the facial nerve. Again, this doesn't look like hemifacial spasm. One, the rest of her face is not spasming. Two, the eye is not tonically contracting. The orbic is not contracting. This almost looks like the orbic has almost no contraction, yet the eye is falling. This looks more to me, if I just had to, put some label on this, and this is just kind of speculation a bit and conjecture, because obviously this is incomplete and this is just a quick little video clip, but I would wonder if she had something like ocular myasthenia with this. So if you watch, it almost looks like the eye is fatiguing and getting tired. She touches it, it comes up for a second, and then it falls again. This looks more like a myasthenic eye to me. If she came into my office and showed me this video, I would test acetylcholine receptor antibodies to see if she had myasthenia or ocular myasthenia. because there are treatments for that, like prednisone. You can do Mestinon, things like that. But just looking at this, that's what it kind of looks like. I slowed it down to quarter speed to see if she had a little Cogan's lid twitch, which is something you can actually have with ocular myasthenia. So in down gaze, the acetylcholine builds up, and then when they look in up gaze, you get kind of this overshoot and this twitching of the eyelid. And if you really slow it down, you can almost see that when it's closed and then opens, it almost overshoots as it opens, which kind of looks like a Cogan's lid twitch, which you see with ocular myasthenia. Again, it's not very convincing. It's very subtle if it is there, but that could be one thing. So these are just a few of the things that it could potentially be. I think people are going to talk about like vaccines and things like that in the comments, causing, the Justin Bieber video I made, everybody was commenting about vaccines causing Bell's palsy and that kind of thing. And I think that will be a lot of the comments here, but this just doesn't look like a Bell's palsy to me. It's not a Bell's palsy. This is not what Bell's palsy looks like. Not to say she didn't have a Bell's palsy at some point with aberrant regeneration, but again, this doesn't look like spasm from aberrant regeneration either. So I would wonder about something like ocular myasthenia, or even like a more systemic myasthenia, where you can get a lot of variable lid abnormalities, like ptosis, which is what this is it's ptosis. It's intermittent ptosis, and it could be fatigable, which you see with myasthenia. So that's what I would wonder, if this could be that. And she has these other episodes where she's fainted on stage and collapsed and this kind of thing. You wonder if she has some sort of more systemic neurologic thing going on, and this is some kind of manifestation of it. I don't know that her other wonk eye, as she calls it, which looks more to me like just a little tonic closure of her other eye when she's smiling, is related to this at all. But certainly very interesting. I would really wonder about ocular myasthenia. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm sure it will be filled with interesting comments. Anyways, that's just kind of a brief look into what I would think, looking at this as someone who does neuro-ophthalmology on a day-to-day basis, and looks at eye abnormalities and things like that. One more thing, just to say, if she came into clinic, things you would want to look for: you'd want to do a complete eye exam. You'd really want to check and see her lid function. So we'd measure the levator function, the excursion of the lid, to see if her levator function's normal. You'd have her look up and keep looking up and hold it. Does the muscles that lift the eyelid, the levator muscle, does it fatigue and up gaze? That's something we see with myasthenia gravis as the acetylcholine's depleted, because it's issue with the neuromuscular junction and the amount of acetylcholine at the neuromuscular junction. Does she lose the ability to look up and up gaze? You could do the ice pack test, where you actually hold ice on it, and it will improve this fatigable ptosis that you can get with myasthenia and that kind of thing. And again, test the antibodies. And of course, measure the extraocular movements. Are they all normal? That kind of thing. Is the pupil involved, which is not typically the case with ocular myasthenia? Does she have normally reactive pupil? That kind of thing. Anyways, these are some of the things that we're running through my mind. This doesn't look tonic. It doesn't look like a spasm so much as it looks like lid weakness to me. It doesn't look like orbicularis contraction. It looks like levator weakness to me. So something more neuromuscular or neurologic, I would be thinking. Doesn't look like a stroke. It's not what strokes look like. Could it be some sort of little absence seizure? I don't think that either. Anyways, that's what I would be thinking. Hope you guys found this interesting and entertaining. Again, no way to know just from this photo, but that's what will be running through my mind. If you guys like it, leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Zach with Dr. Eyeball and D. I'll see you in the next one.